you want to be successful? Do you want to grow your business? Do you want to dominate the day? Then you're going to need Big Skip Energy. Jessica, welcome to the Big Skip Energy podcast. How are we doing today?
I am fantastic. I'm just hoping I can mirror the Big Skip Energy during the conversation.
But if anybody can do it, I know you can. So do me a favor, for my listeners that are not familiar with you, please introduce yourself. Tell everyone a little bit about you.
So my name is Jessica Stokes. I am a master trainer and sales coach here at a company called Sales Gravy. So I am working with sales professionals all around the world to fine tune or sharpen different sales skills to hopefully get you more appointments, more deals, and make more money.
Well, that is good, because you know what? The more money we make means we help that many more people, isn't it? Before the show started, we kind of threw around some different ideas and just trying to figure out what direction that we really want to take this. And I liked one in particular that you threw out there, and it's about nurturing deals, nurturing leads, nurturing closed pipeline. And I want you to talk a little bit about that, because right now it seems to be particular interest. So go ahead, kick us off. Jessica, throw out some stuff. Let's start talking.
Yeah, so I'm so excited to talk about this topic because it's something that I think for anyone who touches any element of sales, of customers, it's so important. So when I use the term nurture, I'm thinking, what am I doing to maintain some touch points with maybe deals I even lost? Maybe they went with the other guy. Something happened a year ago or 2 years ago where I didn't close the deal. Nurturing is also happening maybe after you've closed maybe on that home, right? They're not going to have a mortgage or need to refinance probably for several years. So what are we doing in those gaps? Because when you're out of sight, you are definitely out of mind. You are more likely to miss perhaps referral, friends, family, neighbor, if I don't remember your name. And sadly, Skip, a lot of us are forgettable. We may have had a great experience 6 months ago or a year ago or 2 years ago when you found me that dream house or you rolled all of my finances into this nice little package. But if I'm not in touch with you, I will forget about you over time.
Yeah, that's the nature of the beast, isn't it? It's kind of funny though, but if you had a bad experience, you're damn sure not going to forget about it. So that's the flip side of it. So that's why it's even more important that we really try as sales professionals. I know I mentioned to you before, just kind of my background being in mortgage, as mortgage professionals or real estate, whoever, that we don't forget to do that. And are you seeing that we need to start hitting that up from a bunch of different angles as far as staying relevant, staying in touch? Because I'm personally B2B. I used to be an originator too. And but folks out there that sell B2C, it's just as important no matter what. So what are some of the most effective means that you're seeing out there of trying to stay and nurturing these closed loans or fallout or whatever it is?
Yeah, great question. So it's relevant regardless if you're B2B or B2C, because again, you never know who knows someone else who's in a buying window. And if I don't remember you, if I can't find your business card, if I don't remember your first name, I can't even find you in my email, right? I'm like, was it Skip or Scott or Steve? Can't remember, right?
All of which I've gotten, by the way. And that's not even from closed deals. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Those are the most common. So I get Scott, Steve, Chris. Of course, they get Chip, and that could be someone who literally just met me. I don't know why. I guess it's that's a shame. I guess I'm just that forgettable. I don't know. Anyway, I'm sorry.
It's not that we're not forgettable. It's that sometimes whatever we're talking about is not the top of somebody's mind every single second of the day. So I'm always Jessica, Jennifer, the two most popular names in the years I was born. People don't remember our names. So when you're thinking about nurturing people that you've already worked with, people you want to work with, maybe people you lost, you do also want to think outside the box. So nurturing is not that I'm going to call you every month, Skip, and see if you're ready to move again, or if you're thinking about right. That's not what nurturing is. Nurturing is finding soft, thoughtful touch points that are really designed to go one way with no ask of a sale or a meeting. So I'm just dripping some content to you over a period of time. Now, in most cases, I recommend doing a nurturing event about every 60 to 90 days. And so what I do is I'll have a reoccurring time block on my calendar that's just a set it and forget it. It reminds me for an hour that I need to nurture my leads, my cold stuff, my opportunities. And when that calendar event hits my calendar, then that's my think time to say, what can I do to make a touch point to people who may not be buying right now, but I don't want them to forget me. Then what happens there is I want to mix it up every quarter or however frequently this nurturing is happening. So, for example, this time of the year, we're entering year end. My nurturing campaign is typically a handwritten New Year card, like celebrating the new year, wishing you and your team success around the corner, something that goes usually in the posted, like the physical mail.
Yeah.
And then the next nurture touch point, perhaps when it hits in February or March, that might be something electronic, maybe an email with a recent article that we've written here at Sales Gravy, but it's just information and my name staying in front of this person. And it's from me, the salesperson, not from Sales Gravy mass marketing. It's something a little bit more personal than relying on, if anybody listening right now does have a corporate entity, a marketing team who's sending stuff, your nurturing as the person is coming from you, not just from your company.
Yeah, I love that because that personal touch, it carries on what should have already been taking place, of course, is having that personal connection. But I think it's really important because people pick up on that. It's actually funny. So one of my coaching clients I'm working with right now, she's a realtor and we were working on prospecting activities. And she said, I really need to start kind of focusing on my old leads that never amounted to anything. And I said, yeah, that's true. She said, I just got one contract in from somebody that I've been working with for 8 months. I said, well, that's not surprising given the fact that we have no houses. But that goes to show the long game is key right now. It really is. But before we talk about that, you mentioned something a minute ago about different sending out snail mail, sending out email, the importance of mixed media and kind of attacking it from all angles. And I know a lot of people say, oh, doing mailers and this, and like all the quote unquote, all the traditional old fashioned stuff doesn't work. And I would contend, I want to know your honest opinion on this. By itself, you're absolutely correct. It does not work. But as part of a larger, targeted, and strategically planned campaign to stay relevant, I think it's vital. Do you agree with that or not?
I absolutely agree. And I think the thing that what I've noticed a trend in the clients that I'm working with as well is that I think a lot of sales professionals want the quicker, easier, like what can AI, what can automation do for me? And the more that salespeople in general start gravitating towards those easier, more efficient ways to communicate, the more relevant those of us who are doing something like a written card that shows up in the mail or a video message or something that's a little longer. When you do something really unique, you actually are standing out in the crowd of all salespeople, not just your direct competitors, but anyone else who might be flooding their inbox or any other social media platforms they're looking at.
Yeah, I think when you're nurturing that, it's presumptuous to assume the approach that your recipient may respond best to, right? And so I think like my favorite is social media. I've got people all day long that will not do anything besides social media. Now, for y'all out there that have listened to the show long, obviously I'm a big fan of it. I think it's extremely important, and in fact, my co-host is big time in it. So. But at the same time, if that's all you're doing, you're missing the boat. But same thing with what you're saying. If all you're doing is emailing or sending random messages and you didn't get them to follow you on social so that they can't continue to see your face, it all plays off one another. So right now, what would you say? I know we just got done talking about how important a multifaceted approach is, but what would you say is the single most impactful way right now?
Oh, Skip, I'm actually going to agree with you and your co-host. I love social networks for keeping the nurturing going. So I'm a big LinkedIn fan and I'm posting articles. I'm posting things to keep people who have been added to my network, prospects, lost accounts, whoever, when they scroll their social platforms throughout the week, I want them to remember my name. I want them to see my face. And this has been, it's been so successful for me because there have been times that client who decided maybe to select the other training vendor 2 years ago, well, then I'm getting a direct message that is all of a sudden saying, hey, Jessica, let's reconnect. Can we schedule a meeting? Something has changed. The other vendor didn't work out, or we're putting things out to bid again. But they wouldn't have remembered me if we didn't have that social media connection, right? Because again,
Right.
otherwise I become Jessica, Janet, Jennifer, someone who's lost in their email inbox of 4 years ago. So yeah, social media is my favorite place for nurturing. But the thing about social media is while someone's going to remember my name because they see me in their feed from time to time, a lot of that social media presence is a little bit more for the masses. So when we're thinking about this personal nurturing, that's where I need to stand out to you directly. Might be
Yes.
message on LinkedIn. Like,
I'm
hey,
glad you
Skip.
made that distinction. Yeah.
Yeah.
While it going, of course, your boss man will love this too. The law of familiarity, right? That's social can really pile into that. But in order to maintain that personal approach, you do need the other methods. So, okay. So I'm going to shift gears a little bit on you. All right. Because I think this is really important for anybody in sales, no matter if you sell business or business to consumer, is the asking of referrals, because I think that goes directly into and is related to what we have just been talking about, because it's great to stay in front of mind for folks that you've already done business with, or you may, that's great. But I think asking for referrals is a huge part of that, especially, and some people think I'm kind of crazy for saying this, the folks that turned you down. So whenever someone tells me, it's like, well, yeah, I didn't get the deal. So, oh, that's okay. Did you happen to ask for a referral? No, why the hell would I ask for a referral from that? Why not? You've already gotten to know what the other know. Talk to me about that a little bit.
Yeah, I love this topic. So when it comes to asking for referrals, I actually agree with you as well. I think that even if somebody is going to tell me no, that right now the time is not right, or whatever that objection is, you never know again who they know. And if we are not asking for referrals as salespeople, you are missing, in my opinion, one of the easiest places to go for cold leads, because now you have that connection when you pick up the phone or when you send an email right off the bat. Another strategy that I've heard a lot of salespeople use before is, if you want a referral, ask for 3. Because if I put you on the spot and say, hey, Skip, do you happen to know anyone that might be in a similar role as yours that could use training or might be a great reference for me or whatever? If I ask for the referral and I'm making you think of just one, oftentimes people are like, I'm not sure. I'll let you know. Let me follow up. But if I ask you for 3 and I say, hey, Skip, I'm just curious. I know you're well connected here in the Atlanta area, and I think you enjoy what we're doing here at Sales Gravy. And do you happen to know maybe 2 or 3 other directors of sales or VPs of sales that might benefit from the trainings and the resources that we offer here at Sales Gravy? Well, the likelihood of you maybe at least thinking of one for me all of a sudden increases when you're like, I have to think of 2 or 3. Well, I know one. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So there's something else that I want to take it a step further, because it goes back again. I know we've kind of had this running theme of building that personal connection. Now, you can ask for a referral from anyone at any given time, right? But if you have really done your due diligence and you are truly not a good fit for your prospect, or vice versa, whatever the case may be, actually, I think that's when you can get the most impactful ask for a referral. Just for example, if I go to a financial institution, I'm talking to them about partnering with me for mortgage services, and they're literally just not in a good place. It's not an objection. It's a literal fact that we've been through the whole 9 yards, I would love to do this. We're just not in a place where we can do it right now. That whole thing, that would be a great time to ask. Well, tell you what, how about someone that you know that is? And some of the best accounts that I've gotten have been from types of questions like that. And I think you probably have seen something similar in your experience with both you personally and your clients.
Yeah. And the thing about asking for referrals, even if you're asking in the moment when somebody just told you no, is if you've built the emotional connection, which we, of course, talk a lot about here at Sales Gravy as well.
Yeah.
People buy from people they like. So if I like you and I want you to win and I want to try to do something for you, maybe my hands are tied. Maybe timing is not right. Maybe finances aren't aligned, or whatever it is holding me back from doing business directly with you today. We call that reciprocity, where now I feel I owe you something, or I want to do something nice for you because I just let you down. And now if I can help you, by introducing you to a neighbor, a colleague, a family member, someone else, then that reciprocity kicks in. So we want to take advantage of that.
Yeah, 100%. I love that. So, all right. So if we're talking about playing the long game with some of these customers, let's talk about, and we've kind of talked about deals that fell through. Let's talk about talking to your closed pipeline.
Go ahead.
Let's set that up a little bit. Go, and we'll see where it ends up, because that's a huge thing, and it's something that people just don't do.
Yeah. So you're talking about like your closed, like one pipeline?
Yeah. Essentially, that's a gold mine. Your past customers. Everyone's like, "Oh yeah, I know. I need to reach out to them, but they don't need me. They already used me one time."
Absolutely. And so your closed one pipeline is an absolute gold mine. So what I want anyone listening right now to think about is, if you are not nurturing, if you're not staying in touch with accounts that you have closed, with things that you've closed, even in the last 5 to 6 years, you are missing opportunities, because there's opportunities directly for those clients or those previous clients. But again, we're talking about referrals. We're talking about references. As a matter of fact, Skip, I know a lot of your audience is in homes and real estate, mortgages, lending, stuff like that. I was actually, I was the victim, I'll say, or the recipient of a mortgage lender of a mortgage.
Oh, no, we got you.
I know. Well, here's what's so amazing. So one of the things that I often talk about is the power of pleasant persistence when you're trying to engage with an opportunity. So I closed on my home years and years ago. I'm going to say at the time, I'd probably been in my home for over 10 years.
Okay.
And the mortgage officer who had closed my loan at the time, I was on his regular distribution list. So occasionally through constant contact, going to my Gmail account, I would see just updates that his firm was providing. But I'm going to be honest, guys, I was ignoring them because I wasn't in the need. I'm not moving. I'm not refinancing. Nothing's going on in my world. What that?
But you did see.
I saw them.
So you did see them.
So they would pop in my email, and I remembered his name, right? Because I'm seeing they're coming from him at his place. Yeah. So I would see them. He was memorable enough to where if I had a friend or a family member asking me, do you know anyone who might help me with my mortgage or with refinance, he would come top to mind because I was seeing the emails and he was nurturing me. So at one point, this was actually, I want to say it was in 2021, maybe late 2020. It was during the pandemic. I got like one of his regular emails just saying, hey, refinance at all-time low on interest rates. If you haven't thought about refinancing. But guys, I'm busy, so I ignored it. I saw that come into my email, ignored it, deleted, moved on with life, didn't even read the whole email. Well, he was really intentional, because what happened next was a few days later, I actually had a missed phone call from him. I was actually surprised he was still in my contacts. I didn't even know he would be there. And I saw the number come up, and my first thought was he's calling the wrong person. Maybe there was somebody else in his contacts. But he left a voicemail and he said, hey, Jessica, it's so-and-so at this company. And I wanted to reach out to see if you and your husband had any curiosity around refinancing. If you have not refinanced your home since we did it several years ago, you really might want to strike right now. Well, guys, I ignored it because, again, I'm busy. I don't want to go to closing. Does that mean I need an inspection?
Nothing quite pushed you over that edge yet. Okay.
Nope, not pushing me over the edge. So life went on. A couple days later, I'm going to say 3-4 business days after the voicemail was left, I actually got a text message from him saying, I'm not sure if this is still your number, not trying to bother you. Check your email. I sent you some information. You might want to check out interest rates, whatever. Again, I'm not frustrated by his outreach, but it also wasn't a priority for me. But by his third attempt, I started talking to my husband and I said, and my husband's in finance. He's actually an accountant. So I started talking, I said, I wonder if we should think about this because we haven't refinanced. And I logged into my mortgage. I said, wow, we're paying like this. And he's saying the numbers are like that. That might save us a lot of money. And so my husband got all excited. He opens up a spreadsheet. He starts putting things.
He's running pivot tables and everything over here.
Crazy stuff. I'm going to pull my hair around. I'm like, this is something we want to look into. This might actually be a good situation for us. Well, behind the scenes, we're researching, we're looking into things, and we've determined we probably would benefit from refinancing. I still hadn't called the mortgage lender back. Like he was in the back of my mind now, and we're kind of talking about it as a family. It took him a total of 5 outreaches before I engaged, before I responded. But by the time I responded, the answer was, hey, we're interested. When can we close? Like we had already done.
They've already done all the mental exercises.
Right. And then of course, and I'm so thankful. And in the end, we did refinance and we closed and we got an incredible interest rate. Thank goodness we did it years ago and not today. Yeah. Well, and the reason, there's a couple of reasons why I think I'd love your audience to hear that story. The first is I was a 10-year-old customer in this guy's database. He didn't work with me a year or two ago. It was a long time ago. And the other thing that he did so beautifully is he really made me feel like he wanted to help me and my family. I became a person. I became Jessica, the person he's trying to help, not Jessica, one of hundreds or thousands of people in my database.
Very good. So there were a couple of takeaways from this story. So me being the mortgage trainer that I am, of course, I'm sitting here hearing your story. I'm like, okay, he did good, but I think he should have done A, B, or C. But the point is, though, that he had something that clearly benefited you. He knew it. He did the correct thing with the multiple touches. There are a lot of things he did right, and it still took several attempts. And I think that's the key there, is that it's not just a one and done, guys. Everyone has got to stay persistent and consistent, because I don't know this, and I may be wrong, but I'm willing to bet that his outreaches to you were in a regular cadence, a regular pattern. So, yeah. And so that's also key. It's not sporadic and random and everything. I'll tell you what, though, 10 years, that's impressive. And first of all, I'm glad to see that he's still in the industry after 10 years, but yeah, that's a big deal. This goes to show your database is a gold mine.
Database is a gold mine. So yeah, get back in there, look at those customers, reach out to them, give them information, because sometimes they don't know what they don't know, right? You're the expert in your field, not your consumers. And so just by educating, I don't follow interest rates. Guys, I'm like a salesperson. I'm not looking at the stock market. I'm not watching financial reports. That's why I pay a guy to do that, right? So for him to educate me and point out that at the time interest rates were very low, and if we hadn't refinanced, even closing costs are still going to be worth it. And the education, I think, is what really helped me understand, is this going to be something that makes sense or not? And again, happy to give him referrals, although he hasn't asked for one.
I'm going to need his name and number so I can reach out to him and offer him some mortgage training. No. Okay. So yeah, that's great stuff, especially the education piece. Because even though y'all had done, quite honestly, you did more work on your own than most people would, which is great. Just by virtue, of course, you being in sales and then your husband's the numbers guy, right? So, but the fact that he still helped to educate you about what was going on, and then, if nothing else, maybe not teach you, but verify that what you had calculated on it was correct. That was huge. And we're finding in our industries, mortgage and real estate in particular, but this is going to be true across the board, that educating the consumer and or the company, client, whatever, is really one of the most effective ways to differentiate yourself from your competitors, because that's what takes the knowledge, expertise, and time. And are you seeing a lot of that? Is that being commonly used as a differentiator?
Yeah, absolutely. Because people want to turn to people we perceive as experts in their world. So if you're giving me education, whether that is through sharing something on a social media post or sending me an email that's an article, an update, a things to think about or consider, you're showing me that your business. And when we think about making any kind of purchase, even, I don't know, something in your home, I'm not going to turn to my roofer and ask him if he does plumbing on the side. We want to turn to someone who seems like they really know their industry and they're experts in that field.
Yes, I love it. I love it. So, all right, let's shift gears one more time, but as we kind of draw to a close here. Now, you have got a history in the service, correct?
I do. I was in the Air Force.
Yes, you were. So, I am curious, what part of your time serving our country in the Air Force do you think translated best into the sales world and the sales training world that you're in now?
Oh, what a great question. So I think what I would say that I learned from the military that helps me the most now in sales is honestly just the just do it mentality. Because for anyone who might be listening who ever served in the armed forces,
Mhm.
you don't have a choice, right? If
You do it.
yeah, you're going to do it. You're going to say, okay, I have to do this. This is what it takes for, the mission to succeed or for me to succeed. So I think that is something that has really carried me throughout my sales career is if it means that I have to sit down and make 20 cold calls today, if it means I have to do something crazy like film a video message to that 10-year-old client, just putting a face with a name, I'm going to do what I have to do to have a successful mission, to say, where can I make a new connection? Where can I get another referral? How can I hit my quota? Like just that determination.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me this. What did you do for the Air Force?
So I was a satellite communications engineer. And what that means
Smart
is
cookie over
that
here.
we were in charge of all the telecom. So
Yeah.
anything from a walkie-talkie to the intranet, it was before the time of the internet, guys, or at least
Yep.
the World Wide Web. So anything telecom that anyone in the Air Force or even other branches needed when they were deployed. So you drop us into the middle of Saudi Arabia, in the middle of wherever, and we were setting up all of the communication.
Very cool. So, what made you decide to go into what you're doing now after you got out?
So it's actually kind of an interesting story. When I got out of the military, I served 4 years. And so when my enlistment was up, I was going to college and doing waitressing and bartending as I was going through school to help offset my bills. And I actually had a regular customer of mine. This gentleman would come into the restaurant like every other Thursday. He always ordered a Guinness. He always had the prime rib. Like I still know his order. But he would come in and it was clear that he was a business person.
Sure.
And he would ask me questions sometimes because he was traveling in from Texas, like, where's this road? Would somebody commute from here to there if I was interviewing them? So at one point, probably 3 or 4 months into this relationship, he turned to me and he said, Jessica, have you ever thought about a job in sales or more of an office type of job? And I said, no, not really. And he said, I really think you would do well in sales. And if you'd be interested, I'd like to set you up with an interview if it's something you'd like to explore. I figured, what the heck? I'll try anything once. So I decided, and I got into this position, quickly learned that with a telephone sales job, a lot of that was cold calling. And it didn't scare me. I was like, bring it on. Like if people can book appointments doing this and you can book 2 or 3 appointments a week, if anyone else can do it, I know I can do it. So yeah, it was just a customer at a restaurant who gave me an opportunity.
I love it. See, you just never know, do you?
Yeah,
A lot of conversations matter, by the way.
exactly.
Very good. All right. Well, Jessica, before we end, is there anything else that you'd like to share with the audience today?
No, I would just like to share, like, when you're out there today, be fanatical. Like, don't be afraid to go for that 6th email, that 10th voicemail. Like, if you're not getting
One more call, right?
Yeah, if you're not getting a no, you haven't probably annoyed the person enough or engaged them enough. So just be passionate. People gravitate towards those passionate, excited types of personalities. So be passionate about what you're doing. Think of the positive impact that you're having for your customers, for the families that you're helping. Like, you are doing good work, and be passionate about that.
I love it. All right. So to get in touch with you or learn more about you, where should they go?
They can find me on LinkedIn. You can go to Sales Gravy. Salesgravy.com is the organization I work for. But yeah, find me on LinkedIn, find me on Sales Gravy, shoot me an email. I am always up for a quick conversation. So if there's anything we talked about here today that you're curious about, I welcome your text, your email, or your phone call.
Very cool. Jessica, thank you so much for coming on and spending a few minutes of your day with me.
I have had such a great time. I hope you invite me back again.
I'm sure we can arrange that. Thank you.